Hello there, today is day 14 of working on a currently untitled project, so let's hop right in. So today I made the enemy indicator UI fade in instead of pop in when there are few enough enemies. And I also made the indicator centered on the player, and I added a minimum distance to the fade. So I'll be able to show that all off here once I clear this room. A few other changes while I'm here. Buds now can snap off, so they will give some pushback, but they can't. But if you smack them hard enough, they just pop straight off. You can also shoot them with the railgun to do that. The shells are also no longer kinematic, so you can actually push them around like that now, which is what enabled that to happen. And the charger tanks are also now non-kinematic. I should have saved that guy so I could show that off. But this is good enough. So if I quickly take the main camera and go over here and slow this guy way down, and HUD manager and enemies indicator, and just set this to like -800 and -500, then this should always show up, and you'll be able to see that the indicator is centered on the player and always points towards the enemy. Another thing that I did is that enemy health pickups are now picked up automatically when the room clears. Let me set this back to 8. As noted, the charger tanks, the frontal rigid body is no longer kinematic, so you can shoot it and the charger tank will stall out a bit. This is so when the charger tank hits you, it actually properly transfers velocity to you instead of just shoving you around, which it previously was not doing. Not a really big impact, but it's nice, and if I want the shield to later on collide with other things and probably transfer forces, that will be nice. Especially if I up the bounciness at all on the physics materials. I've got a bit out of order here, so let me see if... for the charger tanks, I also tuned a few numbers on them. I still need to figure out their angular velocity problems, but I made their charge speed higher and tuned the minimax speeds for impact values. So what's the minimum speed that they do damage at, and what's the maximum speed they do damage at? When do they do their maximum damage versus when do they do any damage at all? They also now use the minimum between the rigid body speed and the relative velocity of the collision in the direction of the rigid body velocity, which basically just means this, if you want to read that. Yeah, it's also fun to lure a charger straight through a field of buds right now, because they all snap off, but they provide some amount of resistance. I may have already said this, but I'm not sure I like how they can get knocked around when they get hit, so I may change that. I may apply a counteracting force on the rigid body for the charger tank, but that's to be discussed later. Oh, there's also a small bug with the indicators for the enemies. If you destroy an enemy while the indicators are pointing around, they might swap which enemy they're pointing to, and the target fade might change. The way that I'm doing the fades right now, they fade in and fade out. They lope to get there, and because of that, they might lope when they change target as well, and that is incorrect. They should immediately swap, but that's a tough nut to crack actually based on how I have it set up, so that's a problem. Anyways, I have rambled somewhat in this already, but if you'd like to hear some more rambles, feel free to stick around. If you would like to just move on, feel free to click off. So, some of the stuff I did today, I had some more discussions around the lore and what the background story is. Like, what's the one paragraph, back of the box description of the game, given it's an arcade game, or arcade style game. It's yeah, so that's coming along. I think I have like 2 candidates right now for what I want to pick from that. I'm still deciding between them. Both of them have their upsides and downsides. One of them is actually looking very promising for various reasons, and I think it's currently in the lead. It links in with, it has nice interlocking parts with, getting points, some stuff with hey, you want higher scores, so there might be, combo meters or like other things you can fulfill to get even more score than before, that sort of thing. And it's sorry, let me turn to do not disturb. There we go. It's just very promising, but I'll get there when I get there. For right now, I'm just making progress day by day. Shooting these things with a railgun is so much fun. They just blast straight off. They also pop straight off if you hit them with a railgun. Yeah. The other ramble, for the reworking of the bud shells, and the oh, wrong scene. For the bud shells and the treasure tank frontal shield, I was way overcomplicating how hard that would be in my head. I thought I would need to make this whole multi-entity system and stuff like that, but excuse me. But no, because you can just get the Kaleido's game object when you're using on-collision enter. You can then get the entity script from the parent, and I need to return to the main menu anyways. Yeah, they just snap straight off of their spring. And that looked like he snapped off the other one as well. So if you like to apparently you can just not quite that time, but close. Yeah, it turned out to be incredibly simple. Just moving the rigid body here and changing some code around from just getting the game object to getting the Kaleido's game object, and then it just works. Yeah, it was very straightforward, so I'm thankful for that. Yeah, I've been struggling a bit in terms of what I'm doing because I need to figure out what my next step is at any given point, and especially after a playtest, it opens up so much of the project. Hey, you can just do anything you want, and that's really not helpful for me. I need more clear direction in terms of what I'm doing, so I'm going to try and spend tomorrow figuring that out for the near future, and try to get a few days work lined out so that I can really just spend the next couple of days working hard. yeah, I think that's all for now. If you have any comments, questions, ideas, or anything else on your mind, leave a comment below. Thank you for your time, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care.